again. Well, what a day this has been. What an absolute day. You may have seen a previous video that I posted earlier today with my fluffy pancakes. Tonight's dish is totally the opposite, not as scrummy and sweet, I'm afraid. It's quite healthy, and the reason I'm going down a more healthy line is I've just found out my cholesterol is high. So I'm now looking at my diet and things I can make sure that I'm eating to make sure I'm having a positive effect on my cholesterol levels. So anyone else out there suffering with high cholesterol? Anyone? If you've got any comments you want to throw at me, message me after this, it'd be really great. This is the first time in my life I've ever had high cholesterol levels. So what am I changing? Well, I'm going to knock out red meat. I've got to knock out dairy, saturated fats. Cheese is going to be a killer because I love cheese. White rice, white bread, chocolate, although I can have 75%, 80% cacao chocolate. That's quite actually good for you, your bloody cholesterol. So there are things that I'm cutting out, and one of the things for tonight is it's not alcohol, it's cranberry juice. So a complete change for me. So if anyone else if this triggers a little bell with you at home, tonight's little recipe might be good for you. Okay, so considering we're in autumn, I always like my stews and my soups, so I do a lot of them. And I was talking to somebody on WhatsApp today, and they just reminded me of a country and the food that I love, and that's Morocco. The way they cook and their spices. So tonight's dish is a Moroccan Turkish recipe, and it's a soup. Again, it's not a pureed soup, but it's quite a typical Moroccan Turkish style soup, and it's got a few spices in there with harissa and lemon. And the actual twist to the end, I found out it was an add to the recipe by someone's mother generations ago, and that was a Turkish influence, which is the lemon. So I'll go through the ingredients as I'm preparing them. So I've actually got on the pan some lentils because they need to cook down a little bit. So what have we got? We've got celery, onions and carrots. So I'm going to put those in the pan and they're going to start to sweat. Okay, so not too small, not too chunky. I've got 2 sticks of celery here. I actually like celery. I love eating it raw. Dipping it in hummus is amazing. So I've got my celery. And I've got 1 onion. Now the recipe did actually just call for one large carrot, so I'm not sure if these carrots are large, so I've got 2. But that's okay, because I like carrots as well. I'm going to leave it reasonably chunky. For those of you that are aware, here in Catalonia, we've just gone into another 2-week lockdown on bars and restaurants. Last night was the first night. Some of them are actually okay to stay open until the weekend. But it's paying havoc with local businesses. People just trying to make a living. It's just so difficult. So I'm guessing over the next 2 weeks more and more people are going to be cooking at home. Here's the thought: if you're in the cities area and you want me to cook something for you, message me. I'll cook it and deliver it. You can pay me. It's fine. Okay, so I've got that. Oh yes, my carrots. See, some of these things are things I normally have prepared in advance because there's nothing really exciting about watching somebody peel and prepare vegetables, other than it should not take forever to peel a bloody carrot. Okay, so I'm going to cut the carrots into rounds on a bit of a diagonal because it makes it interesting. Do you remember before I said make your food interesting? Careful not to cut your fingers off. There we go. So I've got the celery in there with the onion. I'm going to put a little olive oil. I want those to cook off. Okay, so onions, celery. I'm going to put the carrots in a second. I'm going to saute those and sweat them until the onions are translucent. I'm then going to add spices. Now the spices I've got is turmeric and freshly ground coriander, cumin seeds, absolutely amazing, and some harissa, which is going to give that lovely chili red pepper spice. And I've also got some red peppers, roasted red peppers, which I had from the other day's recipes. They've been in the fridge, they're perfect, they're going in there as well. I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes, that's going to go in. I've got a cup of chopped parsley, and I've got some fresh coriander I've still yet to chop, so I'm going to chop that in a second. And I've got vegetable stock. For the very last bit of the soup, as it were, the Turkish mama influence, is, of all things, it's flour beaten with an egg and then lemon juice, and that's stirred into the soup. That one's a bit big, I'm going to cut that one in half. Other thing I've done today, a friend has lent me his bike. So, because all the gyms are closing down again, not that I went back anyway this year, good healthy exercise is good for your metabolism, therefore it's going to be good for your blood flow, your circulation, cholesterol. So this is my focus then, so change my diet and get some more exercise, and I'm going to be out on that bike every day. I have to say, I had a little pedal this afternoon, and my legs are killing me. You get out of practice with this kind of thing. You do. So this is a soup, and what we're going to do is we're going to add the things in a second. We're going to add the spices in a second, then the tomatoes, the herbs, everything in, and some stock, and then we're going to add the pulses, and the pulses are the lentils that I'm cooking now. I've got some chickpeas. These came out of a jar. I love them. Perfect. And then I've got some barley. Barley's really good in a soup. Okay, so while that's cooking a little bit, I'm just going to prepare the chopped coriander. love the smell of coriander and I love the taste. Absolutely stunning. Right, that's going to go there. Right, the onions are nearly ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the spices. Now depending how spicy you want this, you could probably put more harissa in, but about half a teaspoon. I like a good flavour. Just going to chop up a little bit more some of those red peppers from the other day. You can't smell that, but oh my god, that is heaven. So that's going to fry. Excuse me, it's going to fry the spices. The turmeric is going to give it that lovely yellow glow. The smell of that cumin is absolutely amazing. So in there I'm going to put nearly all of the parsley and coriander. I want some for garnish for after. Just look at that. I'm also going to put a good pinch of salt. I normally season at the end, so I'm only putting 1 pinch of salt. The tomatoes are going in. Just look at that, that's amazing. So there, simmering away, you've got those onions and celery and carrots, the red peppers, that fresh parsley and coriander, and those spices, the cumin, the turmeric and the harissa is going to add such character and depth to that. It's unbelievable. Okay, we don't want that to boil crazy, so I'm going to just reduce that down, and we are going to add vegetable stock now. You can actually make this with meat. There is a recipe with this with meat, but this is vegetarian. So in goes the stock. Now at this stage I'm actually going to add the barley, because the barley needs to cook and open and swell. I'm not going to add too much. That is sufficient, as they say, or not. The lentils. The lentils are nearly cooked, so I'm actually going to take these off now because they'll finish in the soup. Amazing! Slurp of my non-alcoholic drink. That's coming back up to temperature nicely. All the water has boiled away from the lentils, so I'm just going to tip those into the soup. They're going to absorb all that lovely rich flavour. Next goes the chickpeas. Anyone trying to reduce their cholesterol, pulses and grains, beans, they're really, really good at counteracting high cholesterol, as indeed are tomatoes, really, really good. Avocados are good for you as well. I had a lovely fresh tomato and avocado drizzled with lemon juice sandwich the other day. It was excellent. Okay, so while that's actually coming back to the temperature, in here, I've got the flour, I'm going to put the egg, and we need the juice of a lemon. Whack, 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 whack. Now, I was surprised when I read about this. I mean, obviously what the flour's going to do is thicken the soup. The egg's going to give it some velvety richness. And the lemon juice is going to cut through the richness of that into the spices and the tomatoes. It's going to be absolute heaven. Alright, so that's just the flour and the egg. And then into that we're going to put the lemon juice. Now I've actually got some baby spinach which I used for another recipe the other day, so I'm actually going to fold that into the soup as well. But as you know, with baby spinach it doesn't take any cooking at all, so that's going to be at the last minute. The smell of that is incredible. Wow. Needs a little bit more salt for me, but I'm going to let that cook for a while first. So there we have it, Moroccan spiced chickpea, lentil and barley soup with a little Turkish mama's twist of flour and egg and fresh lemon juice right at the very, very end. I'm going to use the parsley and the coriander as my garnish, and normally I'd tuck into that with a great big loaf of crusty bread, but I'm steering away from white bread at the minute, so I got this lovely German bread actually. It's a good rye bread, so I'm going to use that with my low cholesterol butter spread, not butter. So that's my dinner for tonight. Cheers, you take care.